It's only been a couple weeks since the start of 2023, and we're already starting to see some pretty significant changes in the Orange County housing market. So what are those changes, and how are those going to impact the market as we head towards February? That's what we're going to take a look at today. Hi, I'm Josh Alexander, and your host of Orange County Housing Market News, your one-stop shop for all things Orange County. So on today's episode, we're going to be going over my 2023 February housing market prediction for Orange County. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so for these monthly forecast episodes, I'm going to do things a little bit differently than I did last year. Last year, they tended to drag out 15, 20, 25 minutes sometimes. This year, I'm going to condense it all down into 5 or 10 minutes. So if you're a data nerd like myself and you want to go over more of the data and more of this, just let me know, DM me anytime. I'd be happy to go over it with you. So let's go ahead and start looking at what supply and demand have been doing in Orange County since the beginning of the year. So as we started January, supply in Orange County was the second lowest that we've ever seen. The only time it was lower was last year. And on top of that, demand in Orange County is the lowest that we've seen since the Great Recession. So supply was extremely low, demand was extremely low to start the year. However, as the weeks have gone on, we are starting to see supply remain low and demand starting to creep up every single week. So why is that? Well, number one, we're finally starting to see some stabilization and predictability in the housing market again, which we haven't seen in probably 6 months. So it seems like because of that, we're seeing builder confidence go up, we're seeing consumer confidence go up in the housing market, and on top of that, interest rates have been dropping ever since October, week by week, and right now we're hovering in the very low 6s for interest rates, and for very well qualified buyers, I am seeing rates back in the high 5s again. Now because of this, since the beginning of January, we're starting to see demand slowly rise week after week, but supply really has remained relatively low, and so because of that, we're actually starting to see the market heat up a little bit because demand is going up faster than supply. Now we are nowhere near a hot housing market. Home prices are still slowly coming down right now. However, we are starting to see the trend of more and more buyers entering the market as homes are becoming more and more affordable again due to the interest rates going down, as well as some depreciation that we've seen over the last couple months. In Orange County, we've seen about an average of 5% depreciation since the market high last summer. So not only are homes less expensive to start this year, interest rates are also down, making it a little bit more affordable for some buyers. Now, like I said, this is some buyers. For the vast majority of buyers, especially first-time buyers, homes are still really out of reach right now because the payments are just too high. So for those of you hoping for a quick turnaround in the housing markets where all of a sudden homes start appreciating again, you're going to be out of luck. There's just not enough demand right now, even though supply is low, to make that happen in the market anytime soon. So what does this all mean as we enter the February housing market in Orange County? Well, number one, you're going to continue to see depreciation slow down. So although we're still going to see depreciation for a while, the housing market is like a giant ship. It's not going to turn around on a dime. It's going to take months of this consistent interest rates going down, as well as demand going up faster than supply, to be able to see any type of home appreciation anytime soon, which again, I'm really not expecting anything like that to happen till at least the summertime if we continue the current trends. Number two, traditionally in the month of February, especially after the Super Bowl for some reason, you start to see more and more sellers start placing their house on the market as we get closer and closer to the beginning of the spring market. So if you've been looking for a home and you can't find anything right now, you will start seeing more hit the market as we enter mid-February. So the third thing you can expect, as long as these current trends continue with inflation going down, is interest rates following that. So although you're probably not going to see the major drops that we've seen over the last couple months in the housing market, you can expect interest rates to continue their slow march down as we head through February. As long as inflation data keeps coming out positive, we will see those numbers come down. Now, I'm expecting hopefully by the end of February, as these trends continue, that we might see rates back into the very high 5s again. However, don't expect these giant 0.5% interest rates drop like we saw at the end of last year when we first started seeing inflation turn around. So yes, interest rates will be going down. However, they're not going to be doing so very dramatically. And again, the same thing goes with home prices. And then the fourth and final trend that you can expect in February, which we see almost every single year, is demand will continue to rise as well. So again, as things start thawing out, hopefully as it starts raining a little bit less, you'll see more and more of these buyers, because interest rates are getting lower, start to enter the market looking for properties as well. So just to sum it up, inventory should start going up in the middle of February. demand week by week should continue to increase, interest rates can continue to go down, and depreciation will slow down as we head through the month of February. Okay, so based on what you can expect in the February housing market, what would be my advice for both buyers and sellers? Let's go ahead and start with buyers first. So buyers, number one, if you haven't already watched my latest episode, which is the top 5 ways to be able to write a winning offer in today's market, make sure you check it out. If you're watching it on YouTube, I'll post a link right up here. If you're watching it anywhere else, just go back to my latest episode and you can check that out before going on, because that's going to give you all the tools you need to make sure you can write a winning offer in today's environment. Number 2, buyers, the longer you wait through February, the more competition you're going to have. Like I said, right now demand is going up faster than supply, and although supply and demand will both go up in February, it still looks like demand is going to slightly go up higher than supply, which means if you can purchase a home right now, you're going to have a little bit more negotiating power than you will at the end of the month. However, it's not going to be a giant amount, and in a lot of cases, it might not even be noticeable. So really the best thing for you to do is that if you aren't already pre-approved, just make sure you go through that pre-approval as soon as you can. So if you are able to find that perfect home in this extremely limited environment as we head into February in the beginning, you're just going to have a little bit more negotiating power and be able to get into that home for a better deal. Okay, so now let's go ahead and say that you already have that pre-approval from a lender, and now you're just trying to figure out the timing. Should I buy in February? Should I wait till April? Should I wait till the end of summer? I just don't know what's going to be best for me. The easiest way to determine this is just to ask yourself 4 basic questions. So number 1, am I able to afford the monthly mortgage payments in the neighborhood that I want to live in? Number 2, is it going to improve the quality of you and your family's life? Number 3, are you planning on living in that property for at least 5 years? And then number 4, do you currently have a stable job? If the answer is yes to all 4 of these questions, then it's always going to be a good time for you to purchase a home, because you're not an investor. You're not trying to time the market. You're looking at that monthly mortgage payment and deciding if that's going to be workable for you and your family for the long term. If you're planning on staying in the house, raising a family there, then the monthly ups and downs in the housing market really aren't going to make that much of a difference for you, because you're a long-term homeowner. And in the long term, home prices have always gone up. So if you did answer yes to all 4 of those questions, now is the time to really hone in on the criteria you're looking for and really start the process of looking for a house. Because if you're able to find one sooner rather than later, you're going to have less competition than if you wait towards the middle of the year. Okay, so now I want to go over what I recommend for sellers right now. So sellers, there are 2 types of sellers. The first one is going to be someone that needs to sell their home and then buy another home. And in that case, the biggest thing that you have to remember is that you're always buying a home in the same market you're selling in. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you're hoping that somehow home prices skyrocket again, which again, the data shows nothing like that happening anytime soon, then you also have to remember that if your home's value goes up, so does the house that you're trying to purchase. So really the biggest thing for you is going back to those 4 questions as well to figure out if it's going to be a good idea for you to move or not. Because again, for a normal seller, you're not trying to time the market, you're trying to figure out if moving to a new place is going to make financial sense or not. Now let's say you're the second type of seller, the seller that doesn't need to buy another home after they sell their property. Then my advice for you is that you want to get your house on the market as soon as you can. Right now, every single week, home values are continuing to go down. So if you wait too long, you're just losing money at this point. And you also have to understand that as we enter March and April, where you start seeing a lot more homes hit the market, it just means more competition for you. So at the end of February is really going to be the best time for sellers to be able to get their house on the market, have the least amount of competition, and demand by then should continue to rise, giving you more buyers to choose from. Now, the one last thing I want to talk to sellers about is that if you're one of those sellers that is waiting to be able to sell your house until the kids get out of school at the beginning of summer, you have to understand timelines this year are completely different than the last couple of years. Before, you'd be able to put your house on the market, that weekend you'd have multiple offers on it, it'd be in escrow the next week, so it made more sense that if you were waiting for the kids to get out of school, that you hold off till the end of spring to sell your home. However, this year it is completely different. The average home in Orange County right now is taking about 2 months to sell. So if you place your house on on the market at the end of February, you're looking at probably the end of April actually getting into escrow, and then escrow's another 30 days as well, which means now you're looking at the end of May when your house closes, which is right around the time kids are getting out of school. So you have to make sure you understand the timelines if you're trying to time that home sale for when the kids get out of school. So if you're thinking of buying or selling a house in 2023 and you're finding this episode useful, please make sure you hit that like, that heart, subscribe button wherever you're watching this on. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that bell button as well. That way you're notified every week when I release a new episode. That way you can keep yourself updated on what's going on in the market, as well as every week I'm giving out different tricks, tips, advice to be able to help you successfully buy and sell a home in today's housing market. So again, I hope you found today's information useful. Please share it with anybody that might also find it useful. And until next week, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you on the next show. Bye everyone.